In 2009, I was trekking in the Himalayas, and shortly after this picture was taken, the idea to go and visit all the Commonwealth nations by physical means came to me. I'm sure you all be well aware of the Olympic torch that's going around the UK just now. Well, the Commonwealth baton relay, instead of just going all around the UK, it goes around all the Commonwealth, and that's all the Commonwealth there. 71 nations are going to be coming to Glasgow for 2014, and the way I seen it is they're grouped into four nice groups. There was the Caribbean, the Pacific, Africa, and then a world cycle route. And I thought for a mixture of rowing, sailing, and cycling expeditions over 4 years, it'd be possible to visit all of these. So I got back home after that trip and started working away to pay for it, because I'd have to self-fund it. And I just worked for the council, and I worked in the hockey venue that's going to be there for 2014. That's where my interest in it comes from. I also I had to work any jobs I could. I got a job in a biscuit factory. And that turned out to be good training for cycling around the world, actually, because it was long hours, it was really repetitive, and you always had constant cravings for eating biscuits. So then, on the 4-year countdown, I set off my bike. I was out for the UK and for Europe, and that was all pretty straightforward and easy going. It wasn't until I got into Russia and into the stands that it started to get really exciting and different, and I was going through deserts that weren't even on my map. I was going into countries that I'd never even heard of before. Should have maybe did a bit of better planning. But I'd go from here, I'd go into China and into Pakistan across the Karakoram Highway, one of the most amazing cycling routes that the world has. I was going over mountain passes up near 5,000 meters, and it was all really exciting and different. And as I was crossing into Pakistan, I would actually go through the town that would transpire to be the last hideout of Osama bin Laden. Thankfully, I got away from that, though. And my aim for here was to get to Delhi for their Commonwealth Games, because it was at their Commonwealth Games that we'd be given the flag, and the games would then officially belong to Scotland. And lo and behold, a day before the actual handover, I made it, surprised myself. And I got to go to the handover ceremony, and got to go and crash the after party. And I'm hanging out with all these athletes here. And they're all avoiding the cake because they're athletes. I'm a world cyclist, I'm getting all about the cake. And I got introduced to Mark Cavendish, who congratulated me getting there, and Alex Salmons, who accused me for turning up late. The next day I would set off into India, and from there I would be collecting flags in each Commonwealth to bring back home. And it was also here that I'd realised that the route I took around the world would keep me in the season of summer for the entire time there. And I'm sure that must be some sort of Scottish record, having an entire year of summer. And I would soon get to know a lot about the Commonwealth as well, and all the similarities about the the similar manners, the similar foods and customs, and look at that there, that's an absolute belter of a queue. That would do anyone proud. And that's in India of all places as well. So all the similarities there. It wouldn't be until I got to Australia that the real challenges would kick in. There's a wind system that goes around the bush that I cycled into the wrong way for 4,000 miles. That was a mistake. I would be there for the wettest summer on record. That was also bad timing. This would cause the numbers of insects and flies to absolutely rocket. So all during the day and all during the night, I would just be constantly getting bitten, meaning I'd have to dress up in that once it's up to 50 C degrees outside, which wasn't very pleasant. I'd also have a guy come up with me a knife and try and rob the bike and stuff. Thankfully, nothing happened. It was only later on, though, I realised what a missed opportunity that was. I'm in Crocodile Dundee country. He's got a little knife. I've got a bigger knife in my bag. What a prime opportunity to use the line, "That's not a knife. No, that's a knife." But I missed out on that one. And on the very way out, my saddle broke, not for the first time, but for the second time. I'd already done 200 miles without a saddle, and that's a real stop. I thought I was cursed at that point. Enjoy your rest, I did. But the second time my saddle broke, not only did it break, it shunted me forward. And as it shunted me forward, I fell and ripped a huge hole in the crotch of the last pair of shorts I had. And it was at that point I learned two things. First off, it would be a good time to be wearing some pants. And second, I'd managed to come through all these challenges, and each time I kept going forward, and I realised there was always a way. No matter what happened, there was always a way through. And that's the same, this is me in New Zealand here. I couldn't take any gear on the plane because I couldn't afford to. So I basically scavenged all this stuff in New Zealand, and I'm sleeping in a beach shelter, I'm just sleeping out in the street, I'm just sleeping anywhere I could, and they all send the way forward. The best one in New Zealand I found actually was the public toilets they had. They were warm, they were dry, they were clean, and the best thing is they had an ensuite toilet in every one of them. From here, I get another two flag, the New Zealand flag, and I go over to the Americas. And in the Americas, there's only the Belize and Canada, and I'd race between them. And by this point, I was as strong as you can get. You could see the tree in the background there, just getting blasted by the wind. And that's right, I found the way into the wind again. And I went all the way through the Americas, but by this point, I was really strong. And the biggest day I did was 270 miles in 24 hours. And it's the biggest achievement I had in the entire time. But alas, my luck was to run out once I was to get to Morocco. This time I'd run into boys with knives again. And this time I wasn't so lucky. I had everything stripped off my bike, all my bags, my passport, my camera, everything. I had a knife put to my neck, a knife put to my chest, and I was just stripped, and it was destroying. I had no choice but to go home. But I went home, I got a new passport, and I was straight back out again. I'd come 23,000 miles, and I wasn't going to stop then. So I was back to Gibraltar, getting the Commonwealth flags again, and continuing along back home to Glasgow to complete the journey. I'd make it to Glasgow after my little delay, and day 360 of going around the world, I'd cycled 25,500 miles, averaging 71 miles a day for the entire time, which works out as 1 mile per day for every Commonwealth nation that would be coming to Glasgow. And it was a great feeling, but a mixed feeling to make it there, because you see my bike's a lot emptier than it was once I left off. And it left me a bit jaded once I got back, because it was like, do I continue? What do I do next? And as you see, there's still a lot more flags to continue. But that little spark of adventure is coming back, and I'm thinking, this challenge can be completed, and I think I will get out there and do it. Thank you, Rich.